Welcome to the Upper Darby School District Charter School hearing for Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. This statutorily required hearing on the charter school application submitted for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School will please come to order. Roll call, Mr. Rogers.
Miss Brittany Williams.
Present.
Miss Mitchell. Miss Murphy Mercy.
Present.
Mr. Warsavage. Mr. Desnoyers.
Present.
Mrs. Glenn.
Present.
Mr. Brown.
Present.
Ms. Deborah Williams. Mr. Fields.
Present. The district posted this evening's agenda to board docs at least 24 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting. Is there a motion to approve the previously posted agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any amendments to offer?
Not at this time.
The agenda has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Those abstaining, please say I abstain. Motion carried. At this point, I will turn this hearing over to Mr. Berman.
Thank you. So before we begin and move on into the presentation, I would like to offer a little bit of background for the public. This application was first presented to the district back by letter dated July 24th, 2023, and that enclosed the application. In August, specifically the 17th, counsel for the charter applicant withdrew the application. The application was to be resubmitted shortly thereafter. The charter school law sets November 15th as the last day to file such an application. The charter school law also requires that a hearing for the application be conducted within 45 days of the application. In this case, the application was resubmitted on November 15th, which makes December 30th, 2023, the deadline for a hearing in this case. Notice for this December 19th hearing was sent to council on November 28th, 2023. The review team has now started the review process for this. A site visit will be scheduled with interviews to follow. Based on the application and any clarifying information, it is my understanding that the board anticipates voting on this application on February 27th, 2024. And that is the background that I have to offer at this time. I understand that Mr. Slipikoff is here. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is here and will be making public presentation relating to this application. If you would like to, you are welcome to begin. When you do, could you do me the favor of introducing those that are with you for this?
Good evening. My name is Brian Slipikoff. I'm an attorney at Duane Morris in Philadelphia. I'm here representing the Upper Darby Academy Charter School. With me is Lisa Scruggs, also of Duane Morris, and Frank Catania, who's counsel to the Board of Trustees of Upper Darby Academy Charter School. With that, Ms. Scruggs would like to give you an overview of where we are.
Thank you. Thanks. With my colleague here, Brian Slipikoff, and Mr. Catania, we represent the team at Upper Darby Academy Charter School for today's hearing. The charter school appreciates the opportunity to be here today and to present, and of course, to hear public comments on its applications. As Mr. Berman mentioned, the schedule today, this was an application that was resubmitted after initially being submitted over the summer. In light of the scheduling, as he reiterated, my partner, Mr. Alan Kessler, who is also a counselor for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School, requested that the hearing be postponed or other accommodations be made, primarily because of the time of the year and the availability of a number of the Upper Darby Academy Charter School participants and representatives. We understand that that request was denied given the statutory requirement that a hearing be held prior to December 30th, and so we are here today. But we also just wanted to reiterate that given the timing of everything, there was limited availability of others who will certainly be present at the interview that is, I believe, been scheduled and will be held after a tour of the facility. So our presentation today will be somewhat abbreviated in light of the fact that the interview is scheduled, and we, again, anticipate that there will be the team members there who can answer more detailed questions about the application, clarify and respond to inquiries regarding the educational program that the charter school intends to provide. So just to give you an overview of what we do plan to do today, again, in light of the lack of availability that Mr. Kessler referenced, we have with us today Frank Catania, who is the counsel to the board for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School. He's going to be providing for you some information regarding the governance of the school and reading statements from the board chair and another board member who were unable to be here with us tonight. In addition to that, we will have Mr. Slipikoff, my colleague, will be reading statements regarding the educational program as well as the budget and finance operations at the school. Those statements will be from Craig Wigley, who is a Senior Vice President of Curriculum and Instruction, and William Zerilli, who is the Chief Financial Officer of the organization CSMI that has been working with the board in preparation of the application. We, again, after that, will be certainly happy to answer any questions as we are able, but we want to reiterate that we are looking forward to the opportunity on January 10 to answer the more specific questions that the board might have and that team members, the superintendent, of course, and other members of the team might have, because we expect that at that meeting we'll have more team members who can speak to curriculum, special education, other areas of interest, of course, that the board will want to discuss in detail. And then finally, we are very much looking forward to hearing from the public here today. With that, I guess I will turn it over to Frank to begin his presentation, or his portion of the presentation.
Thank you, school board members. The Upper Darby Academy Charter School is a Pennsylvania nonprofit corporation. It has a board of directors. It's still in formation, but I have letters of support from the chair and another board member that I would like to read. May I proceed and do that now?
Certainly. Oh, geez.
The first letter is from Mr. James Fattah Sr. He is the board president and chair. He's been active in the startup of the school and has been working with us for about a year. He was born and raised in Upper Darby. He was educated in the Upper Darby School District schools. He started at Bywood Elementary, and he graduated from the Upper Darby High School. After that, he attended night school at Villanova University. He obtained an engineering degree and began his career with Robert J. Siegel Engineering in Villanova. In 1972, he became the owner of a delicatessen in Montgomery County and continued to operate it until 1999. Starting in 1999, Mr. Fattah worked for Pennsylvania House of Representatives Mario Severa, member Severa, and until 2010, he was an assistant to Rep. Severa. After Chairman Severa retired, Mr. Fattah continued to work for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives in a variety of roles. He was a constituent liaison for Delaware County Representative Tom Killian, and he ultimately served in a ceremonial role as the mace bearer for several speakers of the House until his retirement in 2021. He was drawn to become a founder of this charter school because of the tremendous opportunities that he believes he can create for district students. Let me quote from his letter. "We have worked with an enthusiastic member of the community who owns a piece of property that will be a great home to our high-tech computer science and robotics charter school. We have received much positive input from district families and believe the local need is strong." He goes on to say his commitment to this community has been lifelong and looks forward to helping all the students of Upper Darby realize great new opportunities at UDACS. He looks forward to working with you soon. He was sorry that he could not attend tonight's meeting in person. Unfortunately, because of limited notice and prior commitments, he was unable to alter his previous travel plans. Sincerely, James Fatal Sr. Can we mark that and put that into the record? Okay, great. Second letter is from another board member, it's Mr. Brian Razzie. Mr. Razzie currently serves as a member of the Board of Trustees for the proposed charter school. And he's writing this because he was not able to attend tonight's meeting to review the application with the board. A little bit about his background. He currently serves as the manager of Glen Olden Borough. From 2009 to 2015, he served as a member, vice president, and president of the Interborough School District. So he is intimately familiar with the challenges faced by school boards in our area. He says he decided to join the UDACS board because he felt that the UDACS unique computer science curriculum will bring a completely new offering of opportunities to Upper Darby students. In his words, UDACS is designed to integrate computer science and robotics into a core curriculum that meets, exceeds, and expands upon current standards. Our facilities, and by that he means UDACS, will be state-of-the-art with one-to-one laptop-to-student ratios, and we will focus on small group learning and limited-sized classes. We have partnered with a seasoned charter school consulting group that has extensive experience at budgeting, facilities design, maintenance, and HR support. Our board is still growing as we seek to find additionally highly qualified individuals who can bring unique experience to this exciting endeavor. He closes by saying he looks forward to meeting with members of the UDSD School Board during the site visit on January 10th. I should tell you that Mr. Razzie also serves in other communities as the health officer, the code officer, and the zoning officer. He's a member of the Eastern Delaware County Stormwater Management Board, the PA Department of LNI UCC Certified Building Code official, and he's a qualified stormwater inspector serving in that capacity from April 2019 to the present. So we wanted to get both Brian and James Fattah's letter, and ask that that be made part of the record tonight. Thank you.
And I have a pair of letters from two of the officers at CSMI. CSMI is the educational services provider and consultant for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School. The first letter relates to financing. The Upper Darby Academy Charter School application includes a comprehensive startup and operating budget for UDACS's initial 5 years of operations. This budget was prepared utilizing the guidance provided in the Manual of Accounting and Financial Reporting for Pennsylvania LEAs and in accordance with Section 1725A of the Charter School Law. The budget accounts for the financial resources and expenditures required for UDACS to achieve its mission. UDACS's revenue and other financing sources will consist primarily of tuition from sending schools and federal grant programs. These revenue sources are considered very reliable given the requirements of the Charter School Law and the anticipated demographics of the student population. Should any revenue delays occur, UDACS's consulting company, CSMI, has experience in guiding successfully schools during times of funding delays from local, state, or federal sources. In addition to these funding sources, UDACS has secured an interest-free loan in the amount of $1 million from its consulting company, CSMI, to finance startup costs and provide additional liquidity in year one of operations. The expenditure budget takes into consideration the programming needs of the school, including the integration of computer science across the curricula. The budget provides allocation of resources for computer science staff and supplies to achieve this objective. The annual budget for each of the initial 5 years of operations provides for adequate resources for all needs of the school and results in 1, a positive change in fund balance each school year, 2, an increasing ending fund balance at the end of each school year, and 3, a positive cash balance at the end of each school year. CSMI itself is an experienced charter school consulting company that has a successful track record of guiding its client schools to successful financial outcomes. And that was submitted by Bill Zarilli, who is the CFO of CSMI. In addition, I have a letter from Craig Wigley, who is the Senior Vice President of Curriculum and Instruction at CSMI. The academic planning and school design for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School is specifically centered on creating an enriched school environment in which all children are provided with the opportunity to develop their unique talents and reach their full potential. The unique core premise of the UDACS curriculum is the infusion of computer science, programming, and authentic project-based learning structures across the curriculum. The curriculum is designed based on industry needs, technological advances, and vast career opportunities for today's learners and the future workforce. In collaboration with CSMI, the Upper Darby Academy Charter School will utilize the premier curriculum management platform of Atlas, www.onatlas.com. Atlas's state-of-the-art integrated curriculum and lesson planning resource will ensure that the curriculum is continuously aligned with the Pennsylvania Department of Education's SAS system. To ensure this focus is attained, the UDACS has teamed with CSMI to develop, in collaboration with its contracted curriculum writers, a comprehensive, state-of-the-art, technology-infused curriculum template. The design intently ensures students will be active participants in an educational environment characterized by high expectations for their academic achievement and demonstrated proficiency of the Pennsylvania academic standards. The curriculum writers have also emphasized focusing the curriculum to meet the needs of a diverse student body, including EL and students with disabilities, in a school setting that challenges them to excel as active, lifelong learners, independent thinkers, respectful individuals, and responsible citizens. Additionally, this curriculum is readily adaptable and customizable in terms of focus and skill set by the UDACS administration and staff once in place. And again, that was submitted by Craig Wigley, who's the Senior Vice President of Curriculum and Instruction, and I have these letters as well to be marked at the conclusion.
So we will certainly, again, provide these statements for you. But just to summarize before taking any questions and hearing public comment, just want to reiterate that the Founding Coalition has come together to develop the Upper Darby Academy Charter School in the hopes that they can continue a mission, again, of providing an enriching school environment in which all children will develop their unique talents and reach their full potential. They expect to be able to do that by focusing on providing students with a curriculum that is focused on computer science concepts, and will enable students to learn new approaches to problem solving using, again, computational thinking, critical thinking, and creativity. The team believes that this is a unique offering for the community in Upper Darby and looks forward again to hearing everyone's feedback and comments.
All right. That concludes your presentation.
Yes.
You want to, can I have
Certainly.
a second? Do you want to introduce this?
I think I referenced in my initial statement that my partner, Alan Kessler, provided a letter specifically to the office setting forth its concerns about moving forward with the hearing. We wanted to make sure, I think I referenced it in my, again, in my opening remarks, but we wanted to set forth that we did submit that request in writing to postpone the hearing. And so in addition to the materials that we're submitting for the statements from the founding coalition, we would also like to make sure that the record reflects the specific request that was made in writing on December 18th from Alan Kessler to Mr. Berman.
All of the correspondences between Mr. Kessler and I will be entered into the record. It's not just that one letter, but all of them.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation, and happy to answer questions.
So thank you very much. What we're going to do now is look to we're going to now look for public comments. And specifically, we're going to allow those district residents and taxpayers that wish to offer comments concerning this application to make those comments in the order in which they signed in. All right, the first, and we'll get to those in just a second. I also want to make note that the district has been accepting and will continue to accept comments submitted electronically to the email address charterschools@upperdarbysd.org. Those comments that were, charter comments. Sorry, I have it wrong in my notes. Charter comments at upperdarbysd.org. And those comments that were received before 1 o'clock today will be read into the record today. After that, they will be simply part of the record and will be considered by the board in making their final determination. So with that, the first person on tonight's list is Colleen Kennedy. Ms. Kennedy?
Where am I supposed to speak?
That's a great question. We have a, I'm sorry, we have a, we have somebody coming up now with the proper materials for you.
I have a couple of quick thoughts, and these might be negated by the presentation because I missed some of the presentation, but I just wanted to read them into the record. I was able to do some research on Mr. Kessler, and I hope that the school board will do some research on the Postal Service Board and his role in that. It's a quick Google search. I didn't really see a ton of evidence of documentation that educators had a huge role in this proposal, and the timeline of this proposal is really concerning to me. And it also felt as though the financial plan of this proposal seems unrealistic to me, but I would love to learn more. The next thing I wanted to bring up is that I saw one section, and maybe this is the reality of public education policy, but it was really concerning to me because it really talks a lot about pushing special education students toward the school to prison pipeline. So I would love to see a better plan on that to make sure that all of our students are served. The property itself, the fact that there's a vacancy in this real estate location is not something that's a burden on the taxpayer. It's really the job of that the owner of that property to find a tenant. And it seems like year after year we have charter school applicants seeking to fill that role. And so that's not a good enough reason, in my opinion. I saw a lot of mention about lack of space, and I think that our school board has done an excellent job of trying to make do with what funding we have to expand and invest in different facilities. There was some mention about K through 6, and then all of a sudden it was K through 8 during parts of the document. So I would love to figure out whether this is going to be a K through 6 institution or a K through 8 institution. I saw a lot of language about curriculum, but it felt like press releases from those textbook companies or software companies. So I would love to learn more about the educators that are involved in this proposal. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry. And then the other couple of things that I wrote down are around ELL services. I think there's like an underestimation of how many different languages are spoken in our community, and I would want every single student to be served well in that regard. And I think there was also mention of a comprehensive student services department, and I would love to have an understanding of how many staff members are involved in that, in fulfilling IEP requirements. All that being said, I'm not convinced that this should be an application that should be passed, and I hope that you'll consider rejecting it. Thank you so much. And I think my brother's the next speaker, so if you could just give him 15 seconds to come back in, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And in fact, James Kennedy is the next person to offer public comment.
Hello. So I'm James Kennedy. Do I state my address or anything like that, or?
We have your address right here.
Okay, great. I'm a teacher in the school district and also a resident, and I oppose the charter school. I think the charter schools are a way of diluting funds away from public schools. And the only quote I'll leave you is, the late economist John Kenneth Galbraith said, if you feed enough oats to the horse, the birds might be able to eat some of them on the other side. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's an efficient way to carry out public policy, and I think that's what's going on with charter schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else has signed up to speak this evening. However, we do have one comment that was submitted electronically prior to the 1 o'clock deadline. That is from Meredith Haig. of Clifton Heights. I'm writing to voice my concerns regarding the application for Upper Darby Academy Charter School. I've read the application and find it to be a collection of buzzwords, talking points, and widely available standards and policies applicable to any school in Pennsylvania. I see nothing that is innovative or new or that would add anything of value to our district. Instead, granting this application would drain much-needed taxpayer dollars from our already underfunded district while stretching the diminishing pool of local educators beyond its reach. The application speaks of space needs within our district, and while this is a valid concern, it's already being addressed by the district in the form of a new middle school and other long-range plans. More importantly, however, the space is now eclipsed by the staffing crisis felt here and nationally, creating an entirely new, distinct institution with all of the administrative needs that go along with that will not help. The applicant purports to focus on computer science. However, nothing in the application differentiates it from the district's own excellent work on this front. My children, UDSD third graders, tell me all the time how much they love of the coding programs they work on at school. And friends and family in much wealthier districts continue to be impressed at what my children have been able to have already learned and the technology they can access. If the applicants were as knowledgeable about our district as they claim to be, they would know that the best elements of what they claim to offer are already happening at UDSD and by faculty and staff with far greater experience and expertise. That's the end of that comment. Which brings us to the end of public comments being offered this evening. As I indicated, the district will continue to accept electronically submitted public comments at the email address I stated before, but which I will repeat properly this time as chartercomments, all one word, at upperdarbysd.org. From there, we'll move into the next section of the agenda, which is board member questions, and I have compiled a list of questions here, which I will ask. So the first question, and any of the three of you can answer these questions. Who is the actual applicant for the charter school? That's not really clear from the application itself.
The applicant is the Upper Darby Academy Charter School. I believe Mr. Catania indicated that was a nonprofit corporation established under the auspices of the state.
Okay. What is the applicant's plan to improve pupil learning in the Upper Darby community?
So the specifics, again, I expect as it relates to the curriculum in each grade and how they will specifically address standards that have been set and that they're required to meet and the alignment between the curriculum and the standards. I think that will all be the subject of much more detailed conversation at the interview. However, I think overall, the theory is that by focusing on computer science and integrating computer science in a way in all of the subjects, that they are providing a unique means of improving student achievement with the students who would enroll at the school.
Okay, thank you. What is the applicant's plan to increase learning opportunities for all pupils attending its proposed school, including students with disabilities and English language learners?
So I'm going to defer again to the team that will be at the interview, particularly as it relates to special education. In terms of the governing and the founding board, I know that they're, and it's stated in the application regarding the intention to serve all students, and that would include special populations, students, EL students, as well as special education populations. And so while the curriculum might be unique with computer science and this focus on computational and critical thinking and creativity, the intention would be to do so in a manner that would be adaptable to all students with a variety of different needs and learning styles.
Thank you. Can you clarify how many classes per grade level the school intends to have in years 1 through 5?
Say that again.
The number of classes per grade level in years 1 through 5.
If it's okay, we'd like to provide, that would be something I'd clarify with them and look up and make sure that we give you that correct information, but we can certainly clarify and provide that information and answer to that question. Absolutely. Did you hear what I said, that we would provide that information? I want to make sure that we give an accurate response to that.
Have you hired or identified any staff who will be responsible for any aspect of the proposed school?
One of the frustrations that we have in coming here tonight is that we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to provide the experts that we have relied upon to work with us to develop and give life to these concepts. The very first question that you ask, what's the school's focus, is very particularly laid out on page 5 of the application. In an ideal setting, we would like to have the opportunity to have an expert interact with the board so that there are questions, there are follow-up, we can have a give and take and exchange of information. These are very specific questions. These are very good questions. These are questions that deserve answers. We also deserve the opportunity to give those answers. So that's why we asked that this hearing be continued. We would like the opportunity to give those answers, and we'll do that at the January 11th tour or the inspection. But we're happy to come back and talk to the board as long as we can coordinate getting the witnesses here at the same time the board is here. So I'm happy to continue as my colleagues are answering these questions, but you're asking us curriculum questions. You know, I'm not a curriculum person, but we have people that we've relied upon to develop the application. The application is very, very thorough. We can point you to different sections of it, but we really can't answer the question the way that they could. That's the frustration. That's why Mr. Kessler asked for additional time. Is it true that prior applicants were given several hearings? Like Vision Quest, for instance, had 3?
We are not, in fact, here for that application. We're here for this application.
Well, I'm just asking for the procedure that the board follows. That's all.
The procedure, the board has developed procedures after having gone through other processes that worked or didn't work as it may be. Regardless, it sounds like, I mean, I'm going to ask the rest of the questions, but it sounds like the answers are going to be essentially the same as we go through this. Yeah. You know, that being said, the question that I had just asked, however, was about whether or not you have identified any staff to either to be responsible for any part of the school at this point. That shouldn't require expert testimony.
As we sit here tonight, I don't know the answer to that question because there are specific people working in that area, and I haven't consulted with them prior to coming tonight.
Thank you. As I said, you may not know the answer to these questions, but I'm going to ask them regardless. What is the applicant's plan to encourage the use of different and innovative teaching methods?
So what I want to do is make sure that I appreciate and want to hear the questions, because obviously we want to be able to provide you with fulsome responses. My understanding, of course, as their representative here tonight, is I've, like many of you, read the application and have had some conversations with them, but I think if we were given the opportunity, and it sounds like we will be on January 10th, to provide more detailed responses, we will definitely be able to do that. So I appreciate and would like to hear the remaining questions. As it relates to encouraging, say that again, innovative approaches, right?
To encourage the use of different and innovative teaching methods. I'm not sure whether what you're doing there is typing everything out, but I will point out that this meeting actually is being recorded and is going to be available through YouTube if you're interested in actually seeing what and hearing again what is being said and asked.
I do, I appreciate it. And I'm also taking notes as to kind of I'm taking additional notes, so if that's okay with you all, but
That's
I
fine.
appreciate that the questions will also be available for us later.
So I'm going to guess that at this point, while you're taking notes on the questions, you don't actually have answers to these questions. And
I don't
that's,
have I did answer some of the earlier questions, but I don't know all of them. If you want to take them one by one, I'm happy to try to do that. I don't know if
That's
that's too
fine.
cumbersome.
what is the applicant's plan to create new professional opportunities for teachers, including the opportunity to be responsible for the learning program at the school site?
That is definitely one that we'll have to get back with you.
How will the applicant's proposed charter school provide parents and students with expanded choices in the types of educational opportunities that are available within the public school system?
So again, I know that the founding board's belief is that this approach, using computer science as the primary vehicle to deliver instruction, is a unique offering. There's certainly an understanding that there are courses, that are offered within the district, but they believe that by fundamentally integrating it into every aspect of the curriculum, that is a unique offering and a choice that is currently not available.
If the charter is granted, how will the applicant ensure that its students are meeting measurable academic standards?
That is something that's spelled out more in the application, but I would defer to the team at the interview on that one.
What evidence do you have of demonstrated sustainable support for the proposed charter school from teachers, parents, and other community members?
In terms of demonstrated support, that again is something that I think they'll be better positioned to address. The team will on the 10th.
How does the applicant intend to provide comprehensive learning experiences to its anticipated students?
Again, I think that actually is laid out in the application in terms of the manner in which they expect to address, the curriculum in each of the grades. But to the extent, and I think that's a valid question in which you would want to have some more back and forth with the curriculum, the folks who have designed the curriculum. They will be there on the 10th.
Do you know who is going to be present on the 10th on behalf of the applicant?
I do not have a full list of everyone who will be present. In my experience, oftentimes there's some dialogue in between the public hearing and the interview as to what kinds of questions you want to ask. Oftentimes there's a focus on special education and EL, facilities, operations. My expectation is that there would be individuals representing the school that would be able to delve deeply into those issues with whoever comes from the district. But I do not today, sitting here, have specific names. I believe we just nailed down the date today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't want to get into, I definitely am not equipped to get into the back and forth on that. But I know that they're working to prepare the team to make sure that it's responsive to whatever needs the district has.
It sounded from the presentation before, from what Mr. Catania was saying, was that there are at least 2 of the board members that would be present. Is that accurate?
That's my understanding, Mr. Catania. Will both of those board members be present?
They're not aware of when that hearing is set or the meeting, so I'll have to ask them and they'll consult their schedules.
Very good.
But if there are specific questions that, it's helpful to us to hear these questions so that we can focus on bringing this information forward to people that will be able to answer those. So,
Okay.
if there are areas that you are looking at, please tell us.
If there are particular areas, I'm sure the review team will let you know ahead of time.
Are these questions from the review team?
These are not. How does the applicant intend to provide comprehensive learning experiences to its anticipated students? I'm not sure if I asked that already. I did. And why does the applicant believe the proposed charter school will serve as a model for other public schools?
That piece, I think, again, you're going to want to talk more back and forth on that, but from the application and from, again, what they believe is a unique approach, this notion of integrating, and particularly when you're talking about an elementary school with computer science, introducing these concepts at an earlier age, and consistently throughout the elementary school years. I believe that is what they believe to be the approach.
All right. Thank you. That is all of the questions that I have on behalf of the board. With that, we move on to the next section, which is your opportunity to make closing remarks for this hearing.
So we would just reiterate again that the Upper Darby Academy Charter School does believe that it is bringing a unique offering and an opportunity to the families in this community to provide a school that will, again, give every student who attends, regardless of their learning style, an opportunity to develop unique talents and reach their full potential. They plan to do that by teaching consistently over the course of a student's education computer science concepts, wherein students would learn coding, which would build creativity, collaboration, persistence, and abstraction, but they would do more than just coding. And they would be hopefully then prepared, regardless of whether students then pursue a career or follow up in computer science. But as problem solvers, the belief is that with an education from the Upper Darby Academy Charter School, they would be prepared for whatever comes next. We look forward to the opportunity to present answers to each of the questions that the board presented today, as well as questions that we anticipate will come from the superintendent and the staff of the school to better understand how they plan to execute on this vision. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Board President, I turn the agenda back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. A motion is in order for adjournment of the charter hearing for the Upper Darby Academy Charter School.
So moved.
Second. Okay. I guess all those in favor?
Aye.
This hearing's adjourned.